Assalamu alaikum fratelli e sorelle, rieccoci qua, spero che tutti voi state bene, io sto bene, alhamdulillah. Oggi appunto ci troviamo in un fiume del Regno Unito e oggi parleremo di altri miracoli menzionati sul Corano che hanno scoperto recentemente gli scienziati e gli studiosi. Quindi cosa è menzionato sul Corano, anche sui mari e sui fiumi? È menzionato anche la profondità, l'oscurità della profondità dei mari e degli oceani, ma soprattutto anche delle due onde. Sapete che esistono due tipi di onde, le onde che vedete in superficie e le onde che vedete sotto lo strato dell'oscurità, cose che comunque all'occhio umano non si può vedere, solamente con attrezzature avanzate o sottomarini, quindi l'uomo non può immergersi di più di 40 metri sotto il mare, addirittura immaginate fino a 200 metri nell'oscurità. Quindi come poteva 1400 anni fa sapere che sotto i 200 metri c'era l'oscurità, se ci vogliono attrezzature avanzate o addirittura appunto sottomarini, oppure addirittura sapere che sotto la profondità ci stanno le seconde onde interne coprono le acque della profondità dei mari e degli oceani, perché appunto hanno una maggioranza densità rispetto a quelle di sopra di esse, e appunto le onde interne non possono essere viste all'occhio umano, perché ci vogliono delle attrezzature avanzate che guardano il cambiamento della temperatura o della salinità di un determinato luogo, e tutto questo appunto viene detto nella Surah An-Nur. Quindi adesso vediamo un video e poi commentiamo su. Guardiamo insieme.
والذين كفروا أعمالهم كسراب بقيعة يحسبه الظمآن ماء حتى إذا جاءه لم يجده شيئا ووجد الله عنده فوفاه حسابه والله سريع الحساب أو كظلمات في بحر لجي يغشاه موج من فوقه سحاب ظلمات بعضها فوق بعض إذا أخرج يده لم يكد يراها ومن لم يجعل الله له نورا فما له من نور.
Darkness in the depths of the ocean. Professor Durga Rao is an expert in the field of marine geology and was a professor at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah. He was asked to comment on the following verse. Or the unbeliever's state is like the depths of darkness in a vast deep ocean, overwhelmed with billow, topped by dark clouds. Depths of darkness, one above another. If a man stretches out his hand, he can hardly see it. For any to whom Allah giveth not light, there is no light. Al-Qur'an, chapter 24, verse 40. Professor Rao said that scientists have only now been able to confirm, with the help of modern equipment, that there is darkness in the depths of the ocean. Humans aren't able to dive unaided underwater for more than 20 to 30 meters and cannot survive in the deep oceanic regions at a depth of more than 200 meters. This verse does not refer to all seas because not every sea can be described as having accumulated darkness layered over one another. It refers especially to a deep sea or deep ocean, as the Qur'an says, darkness in a vast deep ocean. This layered darkness is a deep ocean is a result of two causes. Number one, a light ray is composed of 7 colors. These 7 colors are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, or roji biv. The light ray undergoes refraction when it hits water. The upper 10 to 15 meters of water absorb the red color. Therefore, if a diver is 25 meters underwater and gets wounded, he would not be able to see the red color of his blood because the red color does not reach this depth. Similarly, orange rays are absorbed at 30 to 50 meters, yellow at 50 to 100 meters, green at 100 to 200 meters, and finally, blue beyond 200 meters and violet and indigo above 200 meters. Due to successive disappearance of color, one layer after another, the ocean progressively becomes darker, i.e., darkness takes place in layers of light. Below a depth of 1,000 meters, there is complete darkness. Number 2. The sun's rays are absorbed by clouds, which in turn scatter light rays, thus causing a layer of darkness under the clouds. This is the first layer of darkness. When light rays reach the surface of the ocean, they are reflected by the wave surface, giving it a shiny appearance. Therefore, it is the waves which reflect light and cause darkness. The unreflected light penetrates into the depths of the ocean. Therefore, the ocean has two parts: the surface characterized by light and warmth, and the depth characterized by darkness. The surface is further separated from the deep part of the ocean by waves. The internal waves cover the deep waters of seas and oceans because the deep waters have a higher density than the waters above them. The darkness begins below the internal waves. Even the fish in the depths of the ocean cannot see. Their only source of light is from their own bodies. The Qur'an rightly mentions darkness in a vast deep ocean overwhelmed with waves looped by waves. In other words, above these waves are more types of waves, i.e., those found on the surface of the ocean. The Quranic verse continues to say, topped by dark clouds, depths of darkness, one above another. These clouds, as explained, are barriers one over the other that further causes darkness by absorption of colors at different levels. Professor Durga Rao concluded by saying, 1400 years ago, a normal human being could not even explain this phenomenon in so much detail. Thus, the information must have come from a supernatural source.
You've probably heard that we've only mapped 5% of the ocean floor. That's actually not right. We have actually mapped 100% of the ocean's floor, but to a resolution of 5 kilometers. So you're not going to see much detail at all. It's like a really grainy image. But actually, thanks to missions like the Necton mission and some clever bits of trickery where satellites can look down at the ocean and using maths can work out the local shifts in gravity, we've actually mapped about 10 to 15% of the ocean floor to a resolution of about 100 meters. However, saying all that, we have only ever taken samples of 0.0001% of the whole of the ocean floor. So, it is very much still one of the most unexplored areas of our planet. And that is exactly why the Necton mission is here. That is exactly why we are doing the Exoplatinum Deep Ocean Survey. And that is why we are down at 250 meters underneath that surface of the ocean, looking out across this alien-looking landscape.
Quranic verse. In a deep sea, it is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds, that the deep waters of seas and oceans are covered by waves, and above these waves are other waves. It is clear, the second set of waves are the surface waves that we see, because the verse mentions that, above the second waves there are clouds. But what about the first waves? Scientists have recently discovered that there are internal waves which occur on density interfaces between layers of different densities. The internal waves cover the deep waters of seas and oceans, because the deep waters have a higher density than the waters above them. Internal waves act like surface waves. They can also break, just like surface waves. Internal waves cannot be seen by the human eye, but they can be detected by studying temperature or salinity changes at a given location.
Mashallah, mashallah, questo video è veramente sorprendente. Ciò che sentiamo, immaginate che è proprio scritto sul Corano ed è una cosa veramente meravigliosa, uno dei miracoli più grandi che Dio può rivelarci, perché sono appunto scritti sul Corano. Io spero comunque che questo video vi è piaciuto e spero presto di rivederci. Assalamu alaikum.